Hi, my name is ZeeZee and you're welcome to ZeeZee Talks. So today is question and answer Wednesday. I will be answering a question from a very concerned man about something he's not very sure if his wife should be doing. So as always, stay tuned, do not go anywhere. Who knows, you might actually pick up something that could change your life. I'll be right back. Welcome back. My name is ZeeZee. So today I'll be answering a question from Ken, who is not so very sure if his wife should be on social media as much as she is. So let's see what Ken says. Hi ZeeZee. My wife lives on Facebook and Twitter. Most of her time is spent on social networks, talking to friends and doing God knows what. I have told her several times now how much I hate this, but she just insists on ignoring me. It gets so bad that I come home to a dirty house and no food. Thank God we do not have kids yet. Now ZeeZee, how do I stop this? Well, thanks for writing in, Ken. First, I'd like to say I totally understand how you might be feeling. Now, you and your wife, when you got married, probably had certain discussions about each of your roles and what you're expecting from the marriage and so on and so forth. Now, with your frustration though, I have a few things to say, but first let me just say that I have to make a few assumptions. You haven't told me if she's a housewife, if she works just like you do. You haven't said maybe you have like some communication problems, maybe you guys have some issues that you're currently struggling with, because all these things could actually affect the way your relationship is working out with your wife. So I'll make certain assumptions. I'll make an assumption that she's a housewife. I'll make the assumption that she has nothing else to do, and pretty much you're coming home and expecting that being a housewife, she is saddled with the responsibilities to clean, cook, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to make all those assumptions. So first, I'd like to address when you say, how can I stop her from doing this? There's a very big mindset problem there. Now the thing is, your frustration is lying in the fact that you're trying to stop her from being on social media and so on and so forth, and she's not responding, and so you're losing it. The issue is she's an adult, and the second you think you can stop an adult from doing something, the more you're fooling yourself. You're not going to be able to enforce anything upon your wife because she is an adult. The second she feels like you're trying to exert some sort of authority over her, that might be the first thing that will cause her to go in the opposite direction and totally ignore everything you're saying. So I'd like to say that, Ken, you need some sort of a minor mindset adjustment, because you can't stop anybody from doing anything. Now, let me say this though, with all the assumptions that I have made. Every time you talk to your spouse, there has to be a certain approach. Your approach might be what is causing her not to come to the table to discuss whatever the issues are. The first thing you want to think to yourself is, okay, we have a problem. There's something that needs to be done about this. In marriage, your partners, trying to stop her from doing this is trying to tell her, I am your superior, you're my subordinate, and you have to do whatever I tell you to do. And that's not really the case. Now, again, yes, when you get married, everyone has their roles. Like I said, if she's a housewife, the assumption is she's probably more in charge of taking care of the house and taking care of food and things like that, right? So if she's not keeping up with her end of the bargain, of course there's something wrong and there's something that needs to be discussed. But that's not you coming home from work and just yelling at her and screaming at her, I've done my part, what about you? Again, there might be certain reasons why she hasn't done what she was asked to do or what she is actually responsible to do. She might be shirking her responsibilities, and I get it. But there's a way you approach your wife. There is a way you tell someone something when you're trying to get their attention to do different. Without telling her she has to do it, you have to approach her nicely. So say you normally come home and you're like, how dare you? This place is so dirty. What have you done all day? You're on social media. That's all you do. You're always on social media. immediately you're asking that person to get on the defensive. So your approach should be something more like this. Again, don't forget you're partners in a marriage. So what you're trying to do is to send a message to your spouse. You're telling your spouse, there's something kind of off here, let's talk about it. So say something more along these lines, okay? So, hey hon, I've noticed that the house has been in a bit of a disarray in the last couple of weeks. I know we're partners in this thing, and I know we're here to support each other. Is there something wrong? Is there something we need to talk about? Is there a problem? So that way we can address it in order for us to fix this problem we're facing. Now, if you notice in what I just said, you're addressing the problem as separate from your wife. Your wife is not the problem. Her being on social media is not the problem. The problem is the problem, which is the house is not really getting taken care of like it should be taken care of. The second you accuse her, you're judging her, and immediately you put her on the defensive. So what you want to say instead is, we have a problem, honey, and as partners in this thing, how can we solve this problem? How can we make things even better? Do you see where I'm coming from, Ken? So your approach is very, very important. And if you notice with the example I gave, Ken, it shows a more honest attempt to fix whatever disconnect you and your wife might be facing. It shows more of an honest attempt, not to sound like her father, but to sound like a partner in marriage, someone who is vested in making things better with them. You see where I'm coming from? Now, I totally agree with you that something has to change, because again, spending all her time on social media might not be the best thing. I know it's important to you for the house to be clean and things of that nature, but you have to remember that your wife is in a marriage and not a prison. So you're not the enforcing officer. You're not the one who is there to tell her what to do and so on and so forth. Of course, she might have some issues with prioritizing her tasks and everything. So perhaps that's what you help her do. Perhaps you're better at doing those kinds of things. But the whole point here, Ken, is you're not coming at her as a problem. You're coming at her with solutions to what could be the problem while you're discussing it with her. So my advice is for you to have a discussion with your wife. Find out if there's anything that might be going on with her where she doesn't feel like handling things that the both of you have agreed would be her part in the whole marriage. Remember, it's a partnership. Again, she might just need some help around the house. Maybe she just wants someone else to be there. Maybe she's bored and she's talking to her friends on social media as a way to get in contact with them. Again, it doesn't matter what the situation is. What you have to do is have a conversation with your wife to figure out exactly what the issues are around her not handling this. And you might find out that it might be something even deeper than just her not wanting to do the work. You might have had an argument that she's probably still holding in. I always teach people that it's very important that you share whatever you're really feeling and don't leave anything up to interpretation or for your husband or wife to figure out. But in this case, since you've reached out to me, I will tell you the first thing to do, and that would be to speak with her. So when you help her prioritize, when you help her fix whatever issues she might be facing, when you help her find solutions to how to keep the house okay as well as do what she wants to do, there's nothing wrong with being on social media. If that's the way she wants to spend her free time, and then that's up to her. But the issue is, yes, when those actions start to affect her marriage or affect her relationship with you, that's when you do want to step in. And when you step in as someone who is vested in making things better with your wife right by your side, and not as her father or some sort of boss or authority figure that she's supposed to bow down to. No, she's your wife. She's not meant to respond to any enforcement. You both need to discuss your parts in this relationship, your roles in this relationship. The both of you need to do this, because when you work together, your marriage will flow like a well-oiled engine. So when you speak with your wife, speak to her with calmness. Speak to her not judgmentally, but speak to her as someone who wants to see a difference and is willing to put in whatever he needs to make that happen. And that comes across as the best approach to bring whoever it is you're talking to around. And your wife will hear this in your voice, and she will definitely come around, and the both of you get to fix whatever it is you're dealing with. That's the better way to handle this. Don't forget, a gentle answer turns away wrath, and when your wife sees that you're gentle with her, she'll come right around. And I hope she starts to do the things that will make you and her get closer. So I hope I've helped you there, Ken. If you have more questions or if you have more concerns, do let me know. And is anyone here listening that might have heard something that has resonated with them? Why don't you like this video below? And you can feel free to make your comments or tell me the things you would like to talk to me about. You can always reach me by email, questions@zeezeeio.com. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have tons more videos there that will help you along your way in this beautiful union of marriage and in getting into marriage as well. And I would love for you to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as I post every single day something that will help you on your way to figuring out those little kinks that you might be experiencing in your marriage. So I am ZeeZee. I am constantly here to help you keep your relationship together. If you ever have any problems, reach out to me, and I look forward to speaking with you soon. Have a glorious day.